Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another post-conference presser for Anfield Index. Friday, the 25th of April, literally about 48 hours until the Reds can win the league on Sunday. It's still insane to say that, people, isn't it? But before then, all we can do is savor every minute. All we can do is talk about the press conference. So I'm your normal host, Dave Davis, coming to you from a pretty cold Edinburgh, but we come with warm hearts, don't we? So we'll do the normal, people. We'll talk through the questions Arne Slot was asked, the answers he gave, and some interesting stuff in the mix as well. We'll talk about a clause, maybe, maybe not. We'll talk about the lessons from Leicester the other day. It's actually about 68-0, shouldn't it? But a victory is a victory. We'll look ahead to this Spurs game and everything that will entail, including what Spurs will bring. And then we'll give the normal lineup, scores and scorers. So plenty to go through on this Friday. And let's get straight into it. The questions Arne Slot was asked, the answers that he gave. So naturally, the first few were about, did you watch the game the other night as a squad, or how was that, so to speak? And are you looking forward to Sunday? And in true Arne Slot style, it is a big responsibility. We know the last time this club won it, it was COVID time. Quite relaxed, quite just Arne Slot, I would say. Maybe there's a better way of phrasing it, but that would be what I saw. Again, before I get into too much, I would always say watch it for yourself, make your own opinions, because tone, element, delivery all come into that as well. But also asked a little bit around the league and how tough it is and what's coming. He said, I saw it in the week and I saw it last weekend, just how hard it is to win a game of football. I'm not getting carried away at all. I know how hard it will be against Tottenham. Arne Slot has got his squad 1000% focused on this game. He won't need to anyway. A lot of it takes care of him itself, but you don't expect anything different from this manager at all, do you? Full professional focus, all about this weekend and the game at hand, nothing more. And he was asked as well about watching it with the squad, as we mentioned. He said, well, it's different. As normally when you watch a game, it's alone or with family. We watched it all together, and it was a game that had a surprise. Great goal by Mateta, wasn't it? 2-2. And did it really have a surprise, an Arsenal draw? We'll talk about that as well. Before the game, I was surprised it ended a draw. But during the game, I wasn't. Palace showed what this league is all about. Yeah, they did show what this league is all about. And the race for the top five, and even get my phrase right, five there is insane. That's going to go right down to the wire, as you know. But as Arne Slot was asked about and alluded to in this press conference, the strength of this league has never been higher. If you look at all these teams, even from 8 downwards, who are not in the Champions League race, you take players from all of them. Don't pretend for 1 second. Bournemouth, well, Kirkes and Huijsen were trying for. There's 2. Brighton, João Pedro's liked by a lot. Van Hecke at centre-back. Belabor would be loved by many. Brentford and Buemo's liked by a fair few. You could go on and on. Crystal Palace, as a etc. But the strength of this league has never been higher. That's why mid-table teams or lower are taking points off everyone else. The only real exception, if you're deadly honest, is the promoted clubs. They're just miles off it, aren't they? The gap now is a chasm. It's bigger than it's ever been. But I like that he talked about this. And as he said, everyone can have their opinion. I can only tell you what I've experienced. It's never been as exciting for a top 4 or 5 finish. And as we look at that, it'll be interesting to see who misses out, won't it? Man, Villa missing out. See if Morgan Rogers could be tempted. But that is a different show for a different day. What else was Arne Slot asked in the press conference? He was asked by Mighty Mojo, so shout out to Mo Stewart, in depth about Connor Bradley and can he play 90 minutes? And his response was he's getting closer and closer to playing 90 minutes, but we are taking care of him as he's had 2 injuries that were similar. It's important for him to play as many games in a row as he can. He definitely has the quality to do so. It's a talking point at the moment since Trent Alexander-Arnold's volley against Leicester, isn't it? Will he, and the contract situation, will he play? Will he start? How will it work? Could be reading it completely wrong, or hearing it completely wrong as well. But what I took from that is you do feel that it just suits everyone in this scenario as well. Connor Bradley is going to get a run of games at right back between now and the end of the season, bringing his minutes up bit by bit, because as you mentioned, 2 injuries that were similar. You've got to be so careful with those hammies, and it is the big question mark that is currently against Connor Bradley, isn't it? You know, his injuries, will he get re-injured in this situation? But I'm taking that as I'm expecting Connor Bradley to start the majority of games between, if not all of them, now and the end of the season, which people will talk about what Jamie Carragher said. People will have their own thoughts, but we can only take the manager at face value. And sad news a little bit. He was asked about Joe Gomez's return. He said he's not training with us yet, but he did mention maybe between the last few games this season, that's one. And I do kind of hope that is the case. It would be nice to see Gomez back, wouldn't it? Now, the clip you're probably all thinking, why aren't we talking about this one, which we'll go into, the Darwin question. So, to be honest, a very good question asked by James Pearce, right to ask it in the press conference. I've seen people commenting going, why has he asked that? Why not? It's a great question to ask. It's out there in the public domain. A lot of people have run with this story about the clause as well. So, people could interpret this different ways. Let's just play the clip. Let's listen to the clip, and you can make your judgments from it.
Arne, there were stories in Portugal earlier on this week that if Darwin Nunez plays and starts another game, it would trigger a clause. I think it's €5 million Liverpool would have to pay Benfica. Is there any financial element in your thinking in terms of, or is it purely a footballing decision when it comes to picking the team for the rest of the season?
Do you always believe what journalists say?
Not always.
Not always. No, me neither. Sometimes you should, but sometimes it's better not to believe everything that is written about players. So it's completely new to me. And I've said many times that I'm working at a club here where it's really nice to work. So mainly sports directors are judged by the players they bring in. For me, it's very important to have a great working environment. And I have that with Richard. So the last thing he would do, as I expect working with him for 10 months, is tell me if you play him, it would cost us this much. And if you that he would never do. So I don't even think if it's true or yes or no, because we never talk about that. He never interferes with a lineup. So it might be true, but if a journalist says it, we have to. How do you say that? We have to balance this if it's true or not, or no, you know what I mean.
Can I just ask on Joe Gomez?
Love that answer. Absolutely love that answer. In a room full of journalists, ones who we speak to regularly, I love that. Do you always believe what a journalist said? And you could hear the giggles in the room. He knew full well what he was doing there, Arne Slot. But I've seen a little bit, I've got to be honest, of misquoting this from some people saying, that's Arne Slot saying it's not true, the clause doesn't exist. I've seen that being tweeted. That is not what Arne Slot said. You've all heard it there. What Arne Slot said, his opening line around it was, it's new to me. Indicating he clearly doesn't know about that, have an awareness about it. Some people believe that or not, but that is what Arne Slot said. He then says about Richard Hughes and having a good working relationship that even if it is true, Richard would never tell him to pick or don't play this. He clearly gives that example. So Even if it is true, he is saying Richard Hughes is not telling me to do that. And then the final element to that, which people are kind of ignoring, is he doesn't confirm or deny. He's saying it might be true. That's one of his last lines as well. So just to be clear on this, Arne Slot did not say that story's false. There's nothing in it. What he said was he's not aware of it. It's new to me, was the phrase he used. Richard Hughes has never told him to do that, pick a player or not pick a player because of any clause. And he never, as he said, never will. So you didn't really get definitive or 100% either way. And even as I'm saying this, I can see from the chat part, it's irrelevant what I'm going to say, but I've played you the clip. You can take from it what you want on that. But yeah, just keep in mind, because I've seen a bit of, I think it's misquoting, what Arne Slot said specifically. Listen, for me, as I read that, we didn't get confirmation either way. Be interesting to see if Darwin does start any games, especially if the league's won after Sunday, but we'll see what happens there. But there we go, ladies and gents. Plenty in a short press conference as ever. As it's on the screen, always worth a watch and a listen. No two ways about it. As Red for Life there says, yeah, absolutely. Slot is the master of the media. Got to be honest, through this season, as we're coming towards the end of it, he's been spectacular, hasn't he? Judged it right. Maybe only one or two occasions where he said, I probably could have phrased it differently, but he's been pretty immaculate in these press conferences. So, yeah, another good one here. Now, we look back to this one, as we always do, to the last game on Sunday. A bit hairy, wasn't it? I mean, we absolutely battered Leicester. That's the first thing to talk about. That people are saying, we're another scraping 1-0 win. No, we battered Leicester. We just didn't finish. And there was many culpable characters, weren't they? Should have had numerous goals. I think that 5 times the woodwork is struck, 9 big chances, 28 shots. All the metrics, everything we base it against, we battered Leicester. We just didn't stick it in the net. So probably the first lesson I'd talk about is it probably wasn't a good day for the finishers, was it? And the one I can't get around again is it just doesn't look like Diogo Jota can hit a cow's backside right now, does it, in all honesty? He just looks miles off it. If anything, that Everton goal, which was brilliant and important, it's the outlier in recent forms. It is just a wonder that you have, is the first thing. The second thing from Leicester lessons is, maybe it doesn't even relate to the match too much, but the way people jumped on everything Trent did or didn't do with the celebration, and that means he's staying. And the interview after, he's definitely not staying. And like the Adidas advert, which goes for, post this, Trent Alexander-Arnold is not staying at Liverpool. As David Ornstein said yesterday, and many others, he is heading to Real Madrid. We all know it. Don't get sucked in by it. Don't play it a different way. We know what's going to happen there. And the third big lesson out of everything I would really say there, as much as, the wasteful finishing, the dominance of the game, just one of those routine Liverpool victories. There was a great line I heard this week about what Arne Slot's done. And it's a brilliant line. He said, the ceiling may have come a bit lower, but the floor's been raised. And I thought that was a brilliant line for how this was another Liverpool victory, where even if it wasn't brilliant, we get the job done. And the MO of this Arne Slot Liverpool side now, and the style that it's going to be, that you will batter teams into submission. You will control the ball. It's a settled lineup. It's a settled style. It's almost like Novocaine, isn't it? Over and over again till it works a little bit. So, yeah, that was my other big lesson from this one. And essentially, this put 8-9 fingers on the title, didn't it? As we just wait for the final point of confirmation. And this Sunday, people, I mean, it's trying not to just drool at the prospect, but 4:30 Sunday. Everyone, you know you're going to be watching. I'll be at the game. I'll be there hours before, absorbing it in, waiting for that coach. All those things. Even if you watch it internationally on TV, we're on the cusp of greatness here. Ignore what anyone else is saying. This game just feels made for us, doesn't it? Number one, it's Spurs. And Spurs are Spursy. Number two, it's Ange. Ange is a Liverpool fan. And Ange plays Ange ball. And number three, it's Spurs. This is just, if you could almost handpick the game, this would go into it. And Spurs have also got Bodo Glimt, haven't they? I think 4 or 5 days later on the Thursday in their first leg. So that is completely where their focus is. Spurs know what their role is. And before people start with, don't get carried away, there's a potential banana skin here, they'll be relaxed, pressure off. I can understand all of that. Absolutely. Look at Spurs' form. Look at Spurs' away form. No goals, defeat. No goals, defeat. 2 goals, defeat, because they shipped 4. Defeat at home. They are shipping goals. They are conceding. And if you look at the way it balances out, I mean, they've scored 61. So that when you say 61 goals, they should really, I mean, they've outscored Chelsea. Remember that. But they've shipped 51 goals. Yeah? Spurs are Spursy. It is what it is. And when we also talk about their threats, and I'm not talking about threats to themselves, that there are players that can hurt us. We all know Son has got a goal in him. Solanke would love to get one. Of course he would. Maddison, you know all these names, Kulusevski. Spurs can get goals. However, this Spurs defence ships goals. The setup ships goals as well. And I don't know if anyone's seen Vicario in recent games. My word, I am hoping he is starting this way. Yeah, that's an honest prediction. I think as well, they understand their role in this party a little bit, Spurs. The Spurs fans understand the bit in their party as well, because you've probably seen them tweeting like they want to help Arsenal go second again. Yeah. And even players like Christian Romero, he's already talking about moving to Spain. There are threats in this Spurs side. You can call it blasé, but I just don't see anything else, which naturally brings us to ourselves, doesn't it? The lineup, score, and scorer. And as I look at this, there's some things I think are just now so settled that I could still be wrong on them. But it's going to be Alisson in net. It's going to be Van Dijk, Canate. It's going to be Connor Bradley at right back. I've got to be honest, what's Kostas Tsimikas doing to deserve to be dropped right now? It does seem interesting that just at the end of the season, Kostas is getting a run. And he's not letting anyone down, by the way. So for me, I'm expecting Tsimikas to start. Would it surprise me if it's Robbo? Not remotely, but that is who I think will be the back five. In midfield, Curtis Jones wasn't happy, was he, against Leicester? And I kind of get it for not getting any minutes. But I'm going to be astonished if it's not Grav, Mac, and Szoboszlai as the middle three. And I think Szoboszlai is so valuable to our system, of such a talented player. Not been in the greatest form. I think maybe that played into Curtis Jones's frustration at the weekend. But I'm going to be astonished if it's anything other than those three. And then you come to the forward line, don't you? And it almost feels like some are getting picked on default. Not Mo Salah, the Egyptian king, the demigod. He's on the right. Of course he is. We know the impact he has. It'll be gutted he didn't get more goals last weekend. Luis Diaz has to be playing at the moment, doesn't he? He's another one that's in form, making things happen. Whatever you want to talk around his long-term future, he has to be on the pitch. So then who's the other one? Now, against Leicester, Gakpo went left and Diaz middle. And you could argue we created stuff, we just didn't take our chances. You could also argue that's maybe an away situation. It's not going to be Nunez, is it? Clauses aside, just anything, it's not going to be Nunez right now. Which then leaves Diogo Jota. I honestly think it might be a little bit of what he's seeing in training at the moment. Does he pick Diogo Jota? Does he pick Cody Gakpo? I don't say this with any confidence, but I think Jota will get the nod. I think it'll be Jota middle, Diaz left, Mo on the right. If it was Gakpo on the left, Diaz middle, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But I do think Jota will get the nod. So that is my first 11 for the weekend, in case any injury news, etc. Which then leaves the final bit of score and scorer, what we think it will be. Maybe I'm just talking too much with my heart because I'm that excited about it building and just going for the weekend. However, I think it'll be 3-0. I just can't get that scoreline out my head. 3-0, Mo Salah to score. And the stadium almost for that last 10, 15 minutes just singing, partying. Maybe this is utter dreamland. But 3-0, Mo Salah to score is my prediction. I mean, we've put it on the screen so many times this season, and we should not apologise for 1 single second because it's a thing of beauty. Liverpool need 1 more point to secure the title. 80 points will secure the title. It is literally tantalisingly billed for this weekend. And you will see Arsenal fans on social media say all sorts about not bothered and trying to reinvent history. You will see fans of other teams claiming certain things. Who cares? Liverpool on Sunday are going to take number 20. I'm saying that with confidence. It is going to be party time at Atmosphere at Anfield. We're all going to enjoy it. This is going to be this team creating a footnote in history, people. What a time to be alive. But there we go. Friday, the 25th of April, around 48 hours out from the big game. That was another post-conference presser for Anfield Index.